Hi all, this is Abhishek and today I bring a new series on language understanding intelligence service fondly called as LUIS. LUIS is a Microsoft offering for natural language processing that sits on Intelligent Azure and is offered as part of Microsoft Cognitive Services. In today's session, we will have a introduction on LUIS. We will not get into details of how to build an NLP service using LUIS. Rather, we will explore the very basics of LUIS that will help us further in this series. In the next set of videos, we will get into the details of how to build an NLP service using LUIS. Okay, so let's get started. Before I get into the agenda for today, let me introduce myself to you. I work as an architect with a leading organization and I have deep expertise in building enterprise grade solutions on Azure and .NET. I'm an expert in .NET full stack, Azure platform as a service and infrastructure as a service. I do infrastructure as code, Azure machine learning, intelligent Azure and robotics process automation. I have a rich 14 years of experience working across leading organizations. I do blogging with C Sharp Corner and I am MVP there. I have a couple of certifications to my credit, like Toga Foundation, Microsoft Certified Solution Associate in Machine Learning, Microsoft Certified Azure Developer Associate, and many more. This is the agenda for today. We will start with understanding what a natural language processing is. Then we'll try to understand what LUIS is. Then we will explore the secret sauce behind LUIS, or rather how LUIS works. There we will see what intent, entity, and utterance is. Then we'll quickly get into the steps to build a LUIS service for your application. Then we'll wrap for the day. Natural language processing is a branch of artificial intelligence that enables software programs understand natural human language. They help software programs to become intelligent enough so that they can interpret what human speaks and act on it, or rather work on the instructions provided by human. They facilitate human machine communication or rather work as an efficient interface that can understand human language efficiently and convert it into desirable actions. They are heavily used with chatbots that can understand user interactions and act accordingly. In a way, they make chatbot intelligent or provide intelligence to the chatbot so that they can understand what the human is texting. They're heavily used with intelligent voice command softwares like Alexa, Google, Siri, and Cortana. Let us try to understand what language understanding intelligence service is. LUIS is a machine learning based natural language processing service provided by Microsoft. It is hosted on Intelligent Azure platform as a part of Cognitive Services offering. As of now, it supports 14 languages when the session is being delivered, so it has an excellent language support. It is pretty easy to use and is quite intuitive. Once the user is done building the model and has trained it, it can expose it as REST services, and any application or chatbot that is capable enough to understand the REST protocol can easily consume and use it. It is highly scalable, reliable, and secured thanks to Microsoft Azure platform where it sits on. LUIS supports the concept of active learning. While training the model, we may tend to miss 30% or 20% of the scenarios that user might come up with. So, LUIS is intelligent enough to understand those scenarios and accommodate it while it is communicating with the user. So, if it doesn't understand something which the user is trying to communicate, it will try to actively learn and accommodate it and make the model richer. LUIS has excellent support for pre-built domains like calendar, restaurant reservation, fitness, flight reservation, and many more. This helps saving in developers' time. A developer can extend this domain or use this domain as is and come up with their solution. This is how the landscape for a LUIS solution looks like. Microsoft manages and owns the underlying natural language processing engine. It is exposed to the developers so that they can train the engine with their business specific requirements. Once they have trained and tested it, they can expose it as a REST API. And any application or chatbot service which is capable of understanding REST protocols can consume these REST APIs. So this is as simple as this. Let us try to understand the secret sauce behind LUIS, or rather understand how LUIS works. LUIS works on three important concepts: intent, entity, and utterance. Whenever LUIS gets a sentence to interpret, what it does is it breaks the sentence and maps it to intent, entity, and utterance. Intent is nothing but it's a verb in common English language. It describes what the user wants to do. LUIS provides pre-built intent based on pre-built domain. This saves developers time so that they can quickly load the pre-built intent and get the solution ready quickly. Developers can use custom intent to build their solution. Also, they can extend from the pre-built intent to save time. Example of pre-built intent are check availability and delete from calendar domain, and many more of course that aids developer to complete the solution quickly. Entity is nothing but noun. It describes what the user wants to do or action on. There are different kind of entities or types of entities available in LUIS. They can be simple, that means a single noun. They can be composite, that means combination of two words to form an entity. They can be regex, they can be list, they can be pattern.any, where it's very difficult to comprehend a free form data as a form of an entity. And it also has pre-built entity like age, currency, email. Utterance is nothing but a phrase. It is exactly what the user says. It binds the entity and intent together. Both intent and entity used together form an utterance. It helps LUIS to learn. For example, book a seat, block a seat is all same for LUIS to act on, but are different utterances that LUIS needs to understand and process. Let us now take an example of a sentence that LUIS receives and break it and map it to intent, entity, and utterance. Suppose LUIS receives a sentence as book a seat. So here in this sentence, book is the intent or rather verb, and sit is the noun, that is entity, and the entire phrase book a seat is an utterance. So what are the steps to build a LUIS service for your application? The first step is to decide the domain. There are pre-built domains available that you can select and preload and use it. You can also extend this domain and come up with a custom domain, or you can start up with a fresh new domain based on your business requirement. Once the domain is decided, then we need to build intent, entity, and utterances. Once the intent, entity, and utterances are ready and they are well captured, then we need to train and test the model. Once we are happy with the model performance, then we can expose it as a service so that an application or a chatbot can consume it. This is what I had planned for today, and we have come to the end of the session. Stay tuned for the next session where we will build some real-time LUIS service and do more here and learn a lot in this area. Thanks for watching this video and thanks for being patient. Thank you.